Greetings, everyone. I am your host, Ajay Aditya C., and I'm happy to bid you all a warm welcome on behalf of Zoho Corporation. Now, today's webinar session is a little special as it is a collaboration between two teams. So, Zoho Inventory team and the Zoho Analytics team have come together to host this webinar, and it will have two hosts, one being myself. Now, I have been with Zoho Corporation for the last 6 years, and I have taken up various roles. I started out as a technical writer, and then I moved on to content marketing, following which I took up product marketing, and today I'm taking care of partner and influencer management for Zoho. The other host is my good friend and colleague Ashwint from the Zoho Analytics team. So please give him a warm welcome, guys.
Thank you, Ajay. Hello, everyone. This is Ashwint from Zoho Analytics. I'm a senior marketing analyst. A quick introduction about myself. I've been in the industry for nearly a decade. I've had the opportunity to work across sectors like banking, manufacturing, and IT. I'm now with Zoho for the last year and a half. That's pretty much about myself.
Thank you, Ashwint. All right. So today's session is about accelerating multi-channel online retail with advanced analytics. Now, the crux of this session is going to be comprised of two main parts. So it's going to have a little bit of order management, and it's also going to have some advanced analytics. And the idea is to give you some of the tools that we have that you can make use of to improve your online retail. And the entire content that we are going to provide, it's not limited to our own apps. You can also apply the things that we discuss about today using other applications also. But we thought, we would like to share what we have based on the interactions we have had with our customers. So there are some very simple instructions. Now, this is going to be a semi-formal session, I would say. This is not really a formal discussion wherein even though you guys will be on mute, I want you to interact with us. So if you have any questions, please use the questions option within the left-hand sidebar, or it should be somewhere there for you on the interface. The attendee window will be a little bit different from what we see on the trainer window. So obviously, there is an option for questions. So use that to ask and post your questions. This will help us to know if we have answered your questions or not. And even if there are unanswered questions, we'll get back to you via email after the session. And also at the end of the session, we have a small feedback form. This is to help us know where we need to improve. You see, this is all an interaction between you and us. And we would like to know all the areas which you enjoyed and all the areas where we could do better, so that we can keep giving you good content as we progress. We also have one tiny disclaimer. Now, we have used some sample data to prepare our applications for this demonstration. So more emphasis has been given on the scenario rather than on the data accuracy. So this is just to illustrate something like a typical retail scenario. The real world conditions can be quite different, but you just use this idea and apply it to your own use case. All right, now that we have these things out of the way, let us jump into the session. Now, the agenda for today's session is very simple. So it starts out with the 4 steps to accelerate multi-channel growth. So we have crafted something like a funnel. You will be seeing it quite shortly, and we'll be carrying out our demonstration from there. And then it will be followed by a very simple summary. And then finally, we have a short Q&A session. Now, even though we have a Q&A session at the fag end of the session, you can always post your questions right then and there. And we have some panelists who will be taking the questions and they'll be answering it. And even if there are unanswered questions, don't worry. We have all your email addresses, and we'll be dropping the answers to you via email if there are any questions left. All right. Now, with that out of the way, I would like to start today's session by taking a brief look at the journey of e-commerce. Now, this is not going to be a theory thing. It's just to let us know where we started out from in order to understand where we are and where we can go further. Okay. So we all know that internet started out as a means of exposure, and especially in terms of online shopping. For the last 3 decades it has been like quite popular, and we all have used it as a part of our lives. That being said, do you know that online shopping essentially started out as EDIs in 1960? Electronic data interchange, or EDI, it was brought into the picture in 1960, and then it was used between government bodies and also important organizations to transfer simplified data between the two through a network. And some of the businesses saw the huge potential in it, and they also used it to like transfer transactions between the two. And this happened during the 60s and the 70s. And then in 1979, we all know the great Michael Aldrich, who invented online shopping by using a modified television and a computer which is connected to a telephone line. And this model became such a popular thing that many businesses, including the Boston Computer Exchange, they adopted similar models. Of course, they improved it, and due to the technological advancements, it really became a hit. And slowly people started using internet as a medium to educate their customers, to talk with customers and get orders, and all of that. Then fast forward to 1995, we see internet as a medium of sales, wherein we have our first browsers in 1994, including Yahoo. Yahoo was named later, but then it started out in 1994. And in 1995, we got Amazon, eBay, and some of the e-commerce retail giants that we see today. And in 1998, PayPal made online payments possible, and slowly several companies came into the picture. So retail as a whole took quite a turn. A huge widespread migration happened when Alibaba came into the picture in 1999, when they opened the East to the West. So this is a brief history of the e-commerce that we have seen so far. And today it is a mainstay, and we cannot live without it, especially pandemic has made it so. And there are like three main trends that we see today. Now, I don't have to give you the statistics, but more and more consumers are going online. In fact, we even buy our essentials online these days. That being said, owing to the pandemic, more people are going local also. They want to support their own communities. This is exactly why even companies like Amazon are setting up like physical stores, including, Amazon Fresh, which you see on news and all that. They are actually approaching a hybrid mechanism. On top of, having an application to place orders, you just go to the store, you pick stuff up. So that model is also there, and even local retailers have adopted it. And finally, manufacturers are now seeking out influencers more than ever because of supply chain constraints everywhere. They are directly seeking out local influencers in all of their markets, and through them, through a drop shipping model, they directly fulfill the orders which are brought in by these influencers. So this is essentially the journey so far. And next, we are going to look at the 4 simple steps to accelerate multi-channel growth. So this is something that we have identified and we have come up with based on what we have gathered from our interactions. So this is what we call as a growth funnel. It starts out by identifying the right online sales channel. Now, I'm not going to tell you which channel to go for, which company to choose for, but what I'm going to tell you is give you some pointers to identifying the channel which works for your business model. Next, we are going to look at how you can go about setting up a multi-channel sales engine. So after choosing your channels, you need some sort of a framework to consolidate everything and then operate on a day-to-day basis. So that's going to be the second part. And then third, now if you're operating your sales and purchases across multiple channels, obviously you need to know your performance across these channels. So you need a cross-channel analysis. And finally, we are going to use the data that we have through the channel analysis to create some focal points for sustainability and expansion. So this is the simple growth funnel that we have come up with. So let's dive in. Okay, we are going to start with choosing the right online sales channels. So when it comes to channels, there are several types, right? We have B2B channels, we have B2C channels, you have niche markets, you have like focused markets, and you also have the open general purpose, e-commerce platforms and all that. That being said, essentially, channels can be divided into 3 irrespective of what audience they cater to, which being e-commerce platforms, shopping carts, and affiliate sites. Now, when I say affiliate sites, I'm also including social media sites into it because they are kind of like a hybrid. Some of them even have a buy now button, and they are something in between a shopping cart and an affiliate site, but still, they are there. All right, so let's look at some key attributes between different platforms. Now, e-commerce platforms, examples being Amazon, eBay, and even Etsy. Now, they have a ready-made audience. So they are built for a certain purpose and for a certain type of people who want to shop certain kinds of products. Now, there are general purpose platforms also like Amazon, wherein you can buy almost anything. And then there are also niche platforms, especially if you take Etsy, for example. It's not essentially a niche platform, but then it's more crafted for product makers and creators. So you have a ready-made audience, and it's technically less demanding because all of the tools you need to carry out an online sale is already built into the platform. You just have to sign up and qualify for it, and then done, you're in. And it also has a community, so you can connect with other retailers and then solve your problems together, discuss, brainstorm, and all that. And finally, it offers minimal customization because a platform is designed for a certain purpose. It does not really serve the needs of your own brand. So it will allow you to sell products, and you have to compete with other sellers. So you need to even compete for the buy now button in Amazon, but then you get the idea. And all of your sales is channel driven. So if the channel is successful, your sales automatically picks up. And if the channel gets a bad reputation, then it can affect your sales directly, like no question about it. Now, when it comes to shopping carts, yes, you have to do the groundwork to bring in your own audience, because essentially they are plug and play web stores which can be connected to your existing websites, or you can build a website around it. And yes, relatively it's technically more demanding. I'm not saying you have to build it from ground up. They have built-in web stores which are readily available, but then some of the other things have to be configured by you manually. So it's better if you have somebody to advise you on these things when you start out. And when I say little to no support, I'm not talking about customer support. Many of them have great support. I'm talking about the community. Now, you don't really have a community as such with other retailers if you are going for a shopping cart, because it's built for you, and each person who is using a shopping cart is going to have a unique solution because it's customized for their store. So your problems might not be the same as another retailers, but you will have to seek support outside when it comes to the community. And it is highly customizable, and it's driven by you because you get to choose everything, which means that there is more effort involved. Now, when it comes to affiliate sites, again, you have a readily available audience because they are mainly tailored to help you connect with different markets and different people and promote your brand as well as your product catalog. And some of them have a buy now button, so it is also suitable for all sorts of businesses, especially if you want to get your name out there. And finally, so these are some of the attributes for different kinds of e-commerce channels. So choose one depending on your mode of operations, and also depending on the options available to you and your budget, because the costs are going to be completely different depending on the type you go for. This brings us to the second step, which is setting up the multi-channel sales engine. Now, the theory part is over, so we are going to go more into the demonstration. So here I am going to demonstrate how you can go about your order management. Now, when it comes to this, if you're selling on more than one channel, obviously, then you need some dedicated people for each channel to manage the sale that is happening over there. And every retailer may not have the manpower to spare. So essentially, what I would like you to do is, before you seek out any application for order management, please make a list of all your retail needs. Like, what are all the types of products you sell, where do you sell, and what kind of order fulfillment that you do. Do you use shipping carriers, or do you do it by yourself? You have a delivery person or something like that. What is your market? So is it local, or are you actually shipping it across the country, or are you going global? So these are some of the things that I am just sharing from the top of my head, but essentially you get the idea. Identify your needs and compare it with the features of a platform. Like, get an RFI from the software vendor before you even start out and try an application. That will be easier. Next, when it comes to the platforms, it is always important for the solutions to be integrated. So your order management platform needs to work with your channels and also with your shippers. And it also needs to help you kind of consolidate everything, because you cannot log into each and every channel every single day and then follow up with all of the orders, because something or the other will fall through the cracks and it's going to be difficult. So this is why you need some sort of a centralization. And finally, you need to leverage that data for growth. So your order management should work properly and give you the insights that you need. And this can be done by coupling it with a business intelligence platform. So let's see how we can go about this. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now to give you a brief tour of the order management parts. All right. So now let's go ahead and take a look at Zoho Inventory, because that is our online order management platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So this is Zoho Inventory, and this application can handle up to 8 different types of items for you. So I have created some very sample item names right over here, so you can see the different types that Zoho Inventory can handle. So before you opt for a solution, you need to figure out how many SKUs you have. So if you are a seller of electronic products, then you need serial number tracking. Okay, you essentially need to know if your system can handle serial numbers, and if it can also let you know which location has those serial numbers. So you may have multiple physical locations, so you may even have some warehouses. So it is best for you to find that out. And similarly, if you are a seller of perishable goods or day-to-day FMCG goods, then in that case you need batch tracking and you also need expiry management. So this is a sample item that I have over here, as you can see. And more often than not, when we are selling goods online, we often would like to post them as product bundles, because we'll always have those fast moving seasonal items, and we'll also have those slow moving non-season items which are just occupying space in our warehouse. Or sometimes it need not be a seasonal item, but it can just be a slow moving item, and you want to just bundle it together with another product and then sell them as an attractive bundle. So to do that, you can just go about it by creating them as a composite item inside of Zoho Inventory. And whenever you wish to sell them, you can just create a bundle in order to pack them all together. So it's more like putting those individual components together and creating a simple assembly. So you can imagine it like that. So you can use a composite item to go about it. And similarly, if you are a retailer, you also need to check if your inventory management solution has some barcoding capabilities. It should support product barcodes, because you will be dealing with a lot of them. And it is also great if your solution can generate its own item barcodes. Okay, so we have a beta feature for item barcodes. Now, some of you here, you already know about this, and you have even applied it to your own business. So essentially, we can generate barcodes of the following types, as you can see. And these can be applied to your items, and then you can also print them out and paste them to your items, so that when you use a scanner, you can add them to your transactions. That's about it for some of the requirements that you need. Now let's directly jump into the order management aspect. Now I have already integrated this particular organization with Amazon. Now we have sales channel integrations, direct integrations with Amazon, Etsy, and eBay. Now this varies from edition to edition, because we have around 12 different country specific editions and a global edition. So the combination and what's available to you can change. Now FBA is available only for the US edition as of now, but we'll be slowly opening it up for other editions as well. We also have some third-party integrations via Cartrover, so you can also check them out. In terms of shopping carts, we have direct integration with Shopify and Zoho Commerce, and there are other third-party integrations through Cartrover. And on the shipping front, you can connect your Zoho inventory with UPS, USPS, or any of the over 300 shipping integrations through all of these three partners. So we are partnered with Easy Post, Easy Ship, and Envia. So you can find out what works for you, and then you can connect it. Okay, so let's try connecting a online sales channel to Zoho Inventory. Now to do that, just go to any of these options. So you can either opt for an e-commerce platform or a shopping cart, depending on where you're selling. Now I'm going to go with shopping cart, and I'm going to click setup now. Now, before you even start setting it up, there is one thing, however, you have to pay attention to. Now, you can go ahead, directly do the connection and later change it. But my advice is to first check out the sales channel preferences. And here you can set up your sync preferences for all of your channels. Now this is a common preference, so it's not going to differ from channel to channel. So whatever you choose here, it's going to be applicable to all of your channels. So you can map your online items with the item records that you have in Zoho inventory, either by name or SKU. However, in situations where none of these two fields are going to be the same for the same item, in such a case, you can also manually map the item. But if you are selling product bundles, then I recommend creating those items in Zoho inventory as a composite item and then doing the integration. Okay, so whenever it's a product bundle, make the item first in Zoho inventory and then add the item in the shopping cart or e-commerce platform. That will help you sync these two together, or else it will just be brought in as a regular inventory item. So please keep that in mind. All right, I have already configured them, and now I'm going to quickly go ahead and connect my shopping cart. So let me just do this. So I've entered my store name and I'm just hitting connect. This is going to take me to another page wherein I'll have to validate my credentials, but I have already done that. As you can see in another tab, I actually have my Shopify store. I have already logged in and I've validated it. So I've connected my Shopify store to Zoho inventory. And then, you are going to have all the new products online. They are going to be brought into Zoho inventory along with your orders and other things. Now I'm going to quickly switch to another organization just to show you how it will look like when you have successfully connected some of the channels. Because the initial sync is going to take some time and this is a live session. If you take a look at this, I have connected Etsy and Shopify to this organization. This is also a demo organization. And when you click on sales orders, as you can see here, I've organized it from old to new. So you can see all of my online orders right over here. So this is to give you an idea of how your orders will fall into Zoho inventory. Now, it all depends on your sync. So once in 4 hours, in my case, the orders are going to flow in. And I can just open any order and then go about my package and shipment right over here. Okay, so this is how you do it. And we also support back ordering and drop shipment. So you can check that out. So once you have all your orders in and once you go about, your sales and purchases, because Zoho inventory is going to be the master of stock. And whenever you make a purchase in Zoho inventory, especially when you record a bill, of course, I have some overdue bills here, which is very bad of me. But whenever you make a purchase, the stock level is going to go up in the channel as well. Okay, now that you have the data, you have to go and connect it with your analytics platform, because we need the intelligence to fine tune this data. Now I have already connected my Zoho Analytics with this particular organization, as you can see here. This brings us to the second part. So you have the data coming into Zoho inventory. So we sync your item, your sales, and your purchase data. So we sync almost all of the data which is available in Zoho inventory with analytics. And this brings us to the cross-channel analysis. So now I'm going to stop my screen share and I'm going to go back to the PPT. All right. Okay, so this brings us to the third part of the funnel, performing a end-to-end cross-channel analysis. So you have the data already brought in via the order management system, and now you wish to know how you are performing across each of these channels. And this is where Ashwin is going to show you how it can be applied using Zoho Analytics. Ashwin, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Ajay. Folks, now that you have set up your multi-channel sales engine, what next? Well, it's important to extract meaningful insights from the data that gets fleshed out from this multi-channel sales engine to make better business decisions to grow your business. For that, we are going to use a modern BI and analytics platform and perform end-to-end channel analysis to extract useful insights from this data. So that brings us to the third stage on the growth funnel. So this can be done in two different ways for online multi-channel retailers like you. Step one would be you want to get deeper into each of these sales channels like Amazon, Etsy, Shopify, or Zoho Commerce. That will help you extract data from these channels, understand them individually, and also assess the contribution towards your entire business. Well, it doesn't stop there. The second step would be to extract insights across channels. That's you're able to understand how your KPIs are performing across channels. And using an analytics platform, you're able to understand the behavior of these channels to take better business decisions. Well, interestingly, if you can enable or empanel your teams to do this, that's going to help you get what we call ingredients for business growth. This means your team is able to analyze their own data from the multi-channel sales engine, and they are able to make better business decisions. And finally, rather than fumbling with data trying to find answers, it's important you spend more time on growing your business. So, automating the delivery of insights will be a key factor in enabling you to grow your business. Well, with this prelude, I'm going to now take you to Zoho Analytics to show you how multi channel online retailers like you can analyze your data and get powerful insights from your data. So what you see here on the screen is Zoho Analytics interface. Ajay did explain to you how you can establish this integration from Zoho Inventory. You can also do it from Zoho Analytics. I'm going to quickly run you through the technical prerequisite for this analysis. All you got to do is just hit import your data button on the top right hand side corner, and the platform throws all the different integrations that it can get for you. I'm going to search for inventory, and I have my Zoho inventory tile here. Well, I'm not going to show you how to set up this integration, but in the next few simple steps, you can have this integration set up in no time. I'm going to close the wizard and let's get back. So once you have this integration in place, a workspace gets created in Zoho Analytics. So these blocks that you see on my screen are the different workspaces. For this demonstration, I've created an inventory analytics workspace. I'm going to quickly show you how data from Zoho Inventory is pushed into Zoho Analytics in the form of tables. Well, your different modules in Zoho Inventory are available inside Zoho Analytics in the form of tables, and the different fields inside your modules are available in each of these tables as columns. Upon setting up this integration, you get access to more than 100 plus pre-built reports and dashboards that you can see here. This means you don't have to build any of these dashboards. They're readily available for you to get started instantly. And these are some of the reports. All right, now let's get back to performing end-to-end channel analysis. I'm going to explain this to you in three different phases. One, we said, how nice would it be if everyone in your team can analyze data to make better business decisions? The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is how do you get more granular, extract more insights across channels? And the third thing is how do you automate the delivery of insights? Let's get started with the first one, where you can empanel or enable your teams to do their own analysis. For that, I'm going to use the ML powered AI assistant called Azia inside Zoho Analytics. Though it's easy to build your own reports and dashboards in Zoho Analytics, it's much easier to simply ask questions in natural language to get your answers. Now let's start with a macro analysis where I want to find out my total sales. So all I do is ask Zia, hey, what's my total sales? You get it there. Zia is able to understand the question that's posted in simple English. It's able to translate that into analytical calculations under the hood, and it's able to throw back an answer. Now, as multi channel online retailers, it's important to know your sales breakup across channels. I'm going to find out what's my sales across channels. And I ask Zia, and I have the report right there. This particular seller is selling across 5 different sales channels: Shopify, Etsy, Amazon, eBay, and Zoho Commerce. And you can see a breakup of sales across these 5 channels. Now I want to find out my monthly trend sales trend across these channels. So I'm just asking for, hey Zia, show me the monthly trend. Zia is going to analyze this data. Give me the monthly trend of sales across these channels from October 2018 to June 2021. I'm going to better visualize these insights in the form of a stacked bar, and I have it here. Now, to make more sense to put a timeline to it, so I'm going to say for the last 12 months. And Zia is going to get that and give me the sales across channels only for the last 12 months. And that's what you see here on the screen from July 2020 to June 2021. Well, similarly, you can have your other metrics analyzed using Zia. You don't need to know the data sets, the data models, or the data relationships. All you got to do is just ask questions and you're able to get the right answers. All right, so we saw one dimension of the key metric sales here in this demonstration. Let's get more granular and understand sales from different dimensions. For that, I've built an online sales channel dashboard that you see here on the screen. Well, this is your mission control for your multi-channel retail business. KPIs such as sales, sales orders, sales by channel, maximum sales by customer, by city, and LTV are those KPIs that every multi channel online retailer would want to closely monitor. So you have them all stacked up here in the form of KPI widgets right on top of the dashboard. You can also customize this. You can have more KPIs that you want to track. Scrolling further down, you have the sales by channel report that I just showed you. We did get this insight with the Ask Zia. I'm going to maximize that and show you how this can be put to effective use. Now, let's say you want to compare the sales between two particular channels across your period of 12 months. All you can do is just uncheck those channels that you don't want and just retain those channels that you want to see. So this gives you a high level understanding on the distribution of sales across these two channels, namely Amazon and eBay, over a period of 12 months. This will help you plan your purchases and also your stocks on a monthly basis, depending on the kind of sales that these channels are bringing in over the period of, say, 12 months, like the ones that you see here in this example. Similarly, you can add more channels, understand the granularity of sales over the period of 12 months or any time period that you want to do. Here's another interesting report that I'm going to open it in a new tab. You have the sales order distribution across the 5 channels. And as you can see, Etsy has the highest sales orders. It stands at 40%. Now that will help you to plan your purchases, keep your stocks. And just a quick tip is that you can get deeper, understand the kind of products that you sell in Etsy, because that's where you're getting the maximum chunk of sales. And those products can be well planned and can be stocked well in advance. I'm going to get back to the dashboard. Scrolling further down, you have the distribution of sales analyzed in the form of a geo map. By quickly looking at the map, you get to find out the sales hotspots. Here we go. So just by looking at the size of the bubbles, you're able to spot the clusters that have the highest sales. And here you can see New York City is the city that contributes to the highest sale. On mouse hover, you have the breakup of sales across channels. You have Etsy, Shopify, Amazon, Zoho Commerce, and the other channels breakup. Not just that, a high level look at the report also helps you understand that this particular cluster that you see here is the sales hotspot. This will help you position your warehouses, your distribution points, because this area is where you're getting the maximum sales from. So, to further optimize your shipments or your dispatches or deliveries, you can consider putting up a distribution center or a warehouse in this particular region or any region which you identify as a sales hotspot. So that's how the sales by region report can be put to use. All right. I did mention to you that as online retailers, it's not just enough to understand your sales across channels and also the sales individually by channels, but it's also important to understand some key metrics at a holistic level. So these three reports that you see here, when combined with your multi-channel reports, gives you a better understanding of your overall business. So the first report clearly shows that you sell more goods than services across your sales channels. And what are these goods that are getting you the highest revenues? You have the top 10 composite items by value. That's the third report that you see here. By analyzing that, you get to find out the top 5 or 10 products that you need to keep in stock so that you do not lose out on your business opportunities. This report that you see here is sales by brand, and you can see brand 4 has the highest sales. Now you can pick cues from the kind of marketing that you do for brand 4, and you can deploy a similar strategy to grow your other brands as well. All right, so this is a dynamic dashboard. You can add more reports to the dashboard. You need not limit it to or restrict it only to sales or these KPIs. You can build more reports, have them added here, and you can have a consolidated view of your multi channel online sales. All right, so moving to phase three, where we said it's important to automate the delivery of insights, which means you don't really need to log in to find out what's happening in your business, but it's always good to have it intelligently packed and delivered to your emails. So that's where the schedule emails come into picture. So you can schedule these emails. All you got to do is just hit share. You choose email and you say email as HTML. So here you can key in your colleague's email ID or to whom you want the mail to be sent to. And you can schedule these emails on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, or even yearly basis. Now, for this demonstration, let's go with a weekly basis. So let's say every Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning, I want to see what's happening in my business without having to log in because that's going to be a peak business hour for me. So with that, I'm going to say save email schedule and your email has been successfully scheduled. So on every Monday and Wednesday, like how we configured it there, you're going to get an email with all the kind of updates that you need to make better business decisions. All right, so that's all about running an end-to-end channel analysis. So I'm going to jump back to our presentation now. All right, now with that in place, let's move to the tip of the funnel. Well, to grow your business, sustainability and expansion are two key factors. Now, how does Zoho Analytics or any BI application help you create focal points to drive sustainability and business expansion, thereby to grow your business? All right, so what do I mean by focal points for sustainability and expansion? Well, every business is unique and every business use case is unique. We just saw the example of analyzing sales from multiple dimensions. Similarly, you might have your set of own KPIs which are very relevant for your business. Now, these focal points can revolve around purchases, reorders, safety stocks, returns, third party logistics, sales and marketing budgets, or anything that's very specific to your business. So the point that I'm trying to drive here is depending on your business needs, your platform should be able to support data analysis to give you the right kind of insights. When you are able to do that, that's going to help you enrich your buyer's experience, your brand loyalty, can help you grow your revenue and do much more. On top of all that, if you want to sustain, expand, and grow your business, it's important to craft and foster a system of insights. That is, if you're able to share these insights across your teams, and if they're able to make better decisions based on these insights, that's going to translate directly into business growth. Now, for this online retailer that I have considered, we have identified a couple of KPIs which might also be relevant to you. One is profit, and the other one is orders. Now, I'm going to show you how these two KPIs, when analyzed using a BI and analytics platform, can create focal points for sustainability and expansion to help you grow your business. So, I'm going to jump back to Zoho Analytics. Now, this is a granular analysis on my profit. For this online retailer, I've considered a fixed unit price to populate this profit analysis report. So I have analyzed my profit across items, across channels for the last 6 months. So I'm going to collapse it so that you can have a better view of what I've tried to do. All right, so you can see more granularity on the profits earned across these months. And if I want to do it across channels, I'm going to choose one particular channel and I'm going to collapse it to see on a monthly basis how my channels have performed. So that gives more granularity on the kind of profits that you have earned over the period of 6 months, as you see on this report. Another dimension to profitability would be sales versus profit across channels report. I've analyzed the sales and profits across 5 different channels, and I have plotted here in the form of a bar chart. As you can see, Etsy has the highest sales, yet it does not yield the highest profits. You can see that the sales are highest with the Etsy, but Amazon is the most profitable channel. Now, for this online retailer, these are the kind of insights that they can draw. Now, you can do a similar analysis for your business, understand sales versus profit across channels, and they might give you new dimensions to grow your business. So, though your Etsy channel gives you the highest sales, it's not the profitable one. So, maybe you want to strike a good balance between Etsy and Amazon. Whereas you can see that the sales in Shopify for this retailer is the least. If you're able to assess the potential for your product line in Shopify, then there's definitely some room for growth. So this report clearly brings that out, that you really need to focus on Shopify as a channel to drive more business. So that's all about the profits. Looking at the other KPI, that's orders, we have analyzed the new versus recurring customers across the 5 different channels. It's famously said that it's easy to sell to an existing customer than to acquire a new customer. Now, this report can probably second that. Now, as you can see, though Shopify has the least sales and also the least profitability, like we saw in the previous report, it's getting you the maximum recurring customers, like your repeat customers of all the 5 channels. Shopify is the highest. That can help you in a way where you can start nurturing the Shopify customers, and probably that can be a way to drive better sales. You can see Amazon, your recurring customers are low, whereas your new customers are high. That's another area where you can focus. Maybe you want to do some marketing to retain these customers so that they become repeat buyers across Amazon, because Amazon is the channel that gets you the highest profitability, like we saw in the previous report. Not just that, I have also analyzed my new versus recurring customer count across 12 months, and I'm able to see the peaks and the dips in my recurring versus new customer count. I see that March has the highest number of recurring customers and also new customers. So, depending on that, you can plan your businesses, your purchases to make sure that you do not run out of stocks during these times of the year. Now, I'm going to share something very interesting to you to make your businesses future proof and also more futuristic. It's nice to always have your KPIs forecasted. So, it's going to give you a sneak peek into the future. In this example, I'm going to show you how you can forecast your new and recurring customers count for the next few months. Similarly, you can have forecast your sales, you can forecast your purchases, your receivables, or any KPI that's important for your business. Now, to do that, all you got to do is just hit edit design, And under the analysis tab, you have the advanced analytics features. One is forecast and the other one is trend line. The trend lines help you to identify trends in your data set. Now we're going to forecast these two metrics. So I choose forecast. I pick the first metric, that's my new customers. And I'm going to change the color styling for better visualization. I'm going to add another metric, that's my recurring customer count. All right, with that, I'm going to hit apply and I'm going to jump back to the view mode. So this dotted line that you see here, these two lines are your forecasted new and recurring customer count. The red dotted line that you see here is your forecasted new customer count, and it looks like it's showing a positive trend for the next few months till August 2021. So this might directly translate into sales. So this means as online retailers, it's important to maintain adequate stocks. And then you can see a dip, that's the forecast for the month of September. And maybe you can try doing tailor-made campaigns, marketing campaigns to retain your recurring customers and also to get new customers around the month of August, because you're going to see a dip from August to September across your recurring and new customer counts. All right, so these are a few examples that I have used to demonstrate how analytics can be used to create focal points like profits and orders to help you sustain, expand, and grow your business. So, like I said, it's important to identify the KPIs that you want to track, which are important for your business, and always look out for that platform that can accommodate these robust business needs, that is, can analyze the KPIs the way you want so that you're able to get deeper insights into your business data. All right, folks. So, with that, we're going to wrap up the four stages on the growth funnel, and we're going to jump into the summary. And for the summary, I now hand it over to Ajay to summarize the webinar and give us some takeaways from the webinar.
Thank you, Ashwint. Thank you for the presentation. Now, we are going to quickly summarize what we have seen in this webinar, and we also have a checklist for everybody that you can use when you're applying it to your business. So starting with, we saw the 4 steps within our growth funnel. So we saw how we can go about finding the right online sales channel for our retail business, depending on the model that we use and the products that we sell. Then we later moved on to setting up our centralized order management platform. Now this can be an application, or in some cases this can also be your own way of consolidating different data. So it can be done in various ways, but in this example we have used Zoho Inventory to illustrate how an inventory management application can be of use to you. Once you have set up your consolidated centralized sales engine, now I call it sales engine here because in a retail context it makes more sense. Now this is not a CRM application, this is just a order management solution. That being said, for a retailer, they don't need too many apps, they just need one application wherein they can just manage all their sales and purchases. So that's why I call it as a sales engine here. So now that you have your data, we saw how we could perform a end-to-end channel analysis. So we saw how you could find your sales by channel, sales by region, and also sales by brand, and so on in the third phase. And finally, we saw how you could create focal points for sustainability and expansion. Now this is done by diving deeper into different facets of your business. Now Ashwin showed you profit, and he also showed you how you can drill deeper into your sales order data and then arrive at certain KPIs. That being said, you can also apply the same for your reorders, for your warehouse management, for purchases, for your returns, and so on. So you can actually apply it for all the different facets. Only thing is, we'll have to model the data appropriately and we'll have to apply it. And depending on the business and depending on the tools that you use, what you need to do is going to be completely different. All right. So this is the growth funnel, and we have also put together a general purpose checklist for any retailer out there who can use this to go about their business. So first, it's always good to have a business process layout. Now this may sound like a big word that only big companies and corporates use, but then even for a retailer it makes sense. So have something like a workflow, a simple diagram, or a wireframe diagram, whatever you call it, a flow chart if you will, wherein you lay out how you go about your purchase and sales operations. This will help you identify all the areas where you need more help, or you need an application to do some heavy lifting before you go out and search for different applications just because you came across an internet ad or something. Next, have a centralized inventory management system. This is especially relevant for those of you who are selling on more than one channel. So if you are only selling on a single channel, most likely the channel itself has some tools. And if you're just starting out, in fact, you can start there. And once you expand, once the number of orders on a day-to-day basis, it exceeds more than you can handle with your current manpower, then yes, it makes sense going for a inventory management system. But if you are going for multiple channels, then yes, you must have one, especially an application which can connect to each one of your channels, including your offline channel. Don't neglect that. The system should also handle that. Now, when it comes to order sourcing and fulfillment option, you need to maintain a database of your suppliers. And you also need to know the lead times when your orders are coming in, how many items you have ordered, because this is important. For a retailer, the capital is going to be limited. So it is important to plan your budget. In fact, if you are using Zoho Books on top of Zoho Inventory and all that, we even have a budgeting module built within Zoho Books that you can use. The capital is limited, and for a small business it is always death by a million paper cuts. So it is good to maintain all of that in a single location and always have options. And you need to always look into what you have. Most of the times you have what you need. Like, your customers are going to be giving you all the things that you need. So depending on how frequently they buy a product, where they buy a product from, and all of that, you yourself can see a pattern with the data that you have. Now, if you are starting out, of course you need to look at the models that other people are doing. But if you have already been in the business for a few years, then you have enough data to figure out the trends and accordingly plan your own way. So here is where having a business intelligence platform work with your order management really makes sense. Now, this is not going to be something like really complicated. In fact, it is very easy to set up your own reports and dashboards. You don't need to be a techie to do that. And that's what we have established with the help of Zoho Analytics, which also uses Zia. And you need to also have some deep and advanced analytical capabilities on your hand. Now, today, technology has actually made it possible for us to have AI doing the heavy lifting for us. Especially, you saw it earlier. Ashwin showed you how you can just search for a report, or for a dashboard, or any site of KPI or a widget using Zia. So any tool which can learn by itself is going to be really useful to you. This is the simple checklist that we have come up with. So apply this to your own context and then take it forward. All right, so I think we'll wrap up the session for now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Okay, drop an email to one of these two with hashtag webinar on your subject line, so that we'll take them for you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.